Jamey's bold predictions right now on Fantasy Football Today in 5. What's going on, everyone? I'm filling in for Chris Towers. I'm Adam Azer. I got Jamey Eisenberg here. Hope you listened to the full-length show on Monday. You heard 3 bold predictions from Jamey. 2 that we left out, though. Let's start with one about Anthony Richardson. What do you got for your Gator, Anthony Richardson?
So obviously Anthony Richardson has a skill set that we covet as fantasy managers because of his ability to run based on the expectations and what we saw from him at the greatest university ever, at the University of Florida. So the bold prediction is that he's going to be the second quarterback ever, joining Lamar Jackson from his 2019 season, to pass for 3,000 yards and rush for 1,000 yards. Now, that's clearly something that's difficult to do, considering one person's done that in the history of the game. But you can see, if he plays 17 games, if he has the opportunity to, improve as a passer from what we've seen in college, and so far the video snippets that we've seen out of OTAs look pretty positive. And then, managed to run at the level that he's had. Now, we've seen 9 instances of quarterbacks where they've passed for 3,200 yards and run for 700 yards. And I do think that's something that he is capable of doing. But I think the hardest ask of him is the passing numbers, because when we see these guys run, typically the passing numbers are down. We saw it from Justin Fields. We saw it from another season from Lamar Jackson. And we saw it from Michael Vick, the only guys that have rushed for 1,000 yards as quarterbacks. So if the rushing is at a high level, the passing probably not so much. If the passing is at a high level, the rushing probably not so much. But he's got that type of, I think, skill set and hopefully ability. And, again, if you're talking, can he do it at a young age? Well, Lamar Jackson did it in his second season, first full year as a full-time starter, which was that 2019 campaign.
Yeah, Justin Fields, by the way, he only played 15 games, on pace, though, for 2,541 yards passing, but just under 1,300 yards rushing. All right, give me your other bold prediction that we did not hear on the full-length show.
So Darren Waller has, I think, the opportunity to get back to being a top 3 tight end. I don't know if he'll be number 1. That would probably be a Travis Kelce injury. You don't want to speak that into existence, but I think that's what it would take for him to be number 1. And probably to overcome Mark Andrews, same thing, especially in the passing offense that we're going to see out of Baltimore. But I do think that Darren Waller, rejuvenated, hopefully healthy, and clearly the focal point of the passing game. We spent the time on Monday's show talking about, shockingly enough, with the Giants, but talking about the receiving core there. And when we're singing the praises of guys like Darius Slayton and Isaiah Hodgins and hoping for Wan'Dale Robinson return to health, and same thing with Sterling Shepard. And we'll see what Jalen Hyatt does and Paris Campbell. I think you see what the Giants went about doing this offseason was, how do we get Daniel Jones a better weapon? This is the best weapon that they got. So I think if Darren Waller stays healthy, he has the chance to be a top 3 tight end in fantasy once again. So we've seen him do it. You could say Daniel Jones maybe on par with Derek Carr, in terms of a passer. I'd say Carr's probably better, but we'll see. But Brian Daboll's offense, I know you look at Buffalo, you look at what they did last year. It wasn't exactly a tight end friendly offense. Well, his history, he's been a tight end coach in the NFL before. He's been on some staffs. I think with Rob Gronkowski in New England, has the opportunity to feature Darren Waller. And I think, just looking at this receiving core and where Daniel Jones will make the focal point, Darren Waller should be that guy.
Yeah, I don't think you can at this point put Daniel Jones on par with Derek Carr, but I do think that it's very reasonable that he gets there this year, where he becomes a passer that's as good as Derek Carr has been in his prime. I'm optimistic. I don't want to be a homer, but I love this call. I think that right now, Waller going after, everyone, Hawkinson, then it's Pitts, then it's Goddard, then it's Kittle, or I might have mixed the order up a little bit.
No, that's pretty on par.
Waller's the best value to me, because I just could see any of them finishing as tight end 3. I'll just get the one I can get last. And right now that's Darren Waller. I feel like you probably are in that same group.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. All right. More bold predictions from Jamey. One about Bijan Robinson, one about his teammate Drake London and the other sophomore wide receivers, and one about the wide receiver duo that's going to be the most prolific in fantasy. It's not one that you're thinking of right off the top of your head. Check that out on the full-length episode of Fantasy Football Today. For Jamey Eisenberg, I'm Adam Azer. We'll talk to you tomorrow.